All right, good morning. We're back on the desert road. We got this awesome 2022 Volkswagen Atlas. We're gonna take it on a drive today and let you know the pros and cons of this majestic big beast. Let's go on a drive. Guys, welcome back. We're very excited today. We have this awesome family hauler, a 2022 Volkswagen Atlas. We're taking it for a drive. We have this for the day. Follow us along for the ride. We'll get into the nitty-gritty of it all. Let's go. Let's talk a little bit about the exterior. Overall, this looks like a nice, awesome German large SUV. I like the design. It looks very clean. There's nothing out of place. The front bumper, the rear bumper, the front headlights all look very, very nice. I like the entire design language. It might be somewhat on the blander or bulkier side, but overall I think the car looks fantastic, more so than some of the other Japanese counterparts that look a little bit more vanilla to me. I like this. I think it's a very unisex design language. I think a man or a woman or anybody in between will look great at driving this car. It just doesn't feel masculine or feminine to me in any way. A couple of things of note: the LEDs in the front do look great and crisp. The rear, they did incorporate fake exhaust vents into the rear bumper. It has a full reflective bar on the rear bumper as well. Kind of an interesting design touch. I've never really seen that on any other car before in the rear. So overall, I think this car looks fantastic, especially if you pick it in this sparkling dark gray metallic here. The color looks great. So do the other colors this car comes in, but this would probably be my pick. Moving on, we're going to talk about the interior. The interior is very clean and classically laid out. There's really nothing out of place. One of the first things you notice is how easily accessible everything is. The screen is right by you here. This is a touch screen. You have all the AC controls. They are analog controls, which I really like. Very easy to adjust all of this. There is no fumbling. The gauges in front of me, they are digital gauges. Very clean, just give you all the info you need here. The speedometer, they got the tachometer here. Overall, it all looks very, very clean and crisp. Nothing is out of place. There is really nothing that's overbearing in here as well. I got into this car. It was immediately very easy to set up, to get comfortable, and to start driving. There's really nothing you got to learn with this. Just an easy overall experience of getting in, adjusting the seat, and off we go. So kudos to Volkswagen for making still a clean, simple interior. Some of the other things to point out: the dash has this pretty nice fake leather wrapping, looks good. Again, much of the other tidbits in here are plastic, including part of this dash right here is this like wood looking plastic piece. There's a lot of piano black going on, and some silver trim. Everything looks well built, well put together. Nothing is overly on the cheaper side as well, which I do enjoy. One other thing to note: this is a dark interior. It comes with the light headliner. There is a large moonroof here with a mesh slide that covers it up. It doesn't fully black out the roof, so if you live in a sunnier climate, it's something to be aware of, that you can't fully black out that roof even once you close the mesh up top. Another thing to note, I really enjoy this steering wheel. It's got this nice flat bottom touch. It's got the stitching alongside the inside of the steering wheel. It is not padded or cushy in any way, but overall it feels great in the hand. Okay, a couple other things to note about this interior. This car did come spec with the captain chair middle row, so you have 2 seats behind this front row and then an additional 2 seats behind that. So this car can easily fit 6 people quite comfortably in here. There's tons of room to even walk through to the rearmost seat, or you can fold up and move this middle row to give accessibility to the back fully. I've sat in every seat in this car and they all feel great. Even in the furthest row back, there's still plenty of room for 2 grown adults if you want to carry that. Just be mindful, if you have all 3 of these rows up, the car leaves very minimal room in the trunk. You can have 6 people very comfortably in this car around town. You won't get very far, especially on a road trip, if you have all the rows up. This definitely will get a family of 4 or 5 around very easily, whether around town or on longer destinations. So I think this is a great size vehicle if you're looking for that extra space in something like this. Now let's get to the best part, how this car actually drives. So a couple things of note. I got in, I was almost immediately comfortable in this car, even though it is couple sizes larger than the typical cars I drive, and the size to me is not intimidating at all. I'm able to adjust the seat exactly how I want it. You have a great commanding view out of the window, and one of the things that is also I really appreciate is there's nearly no blind spots anywhere in this car. You can see very well out of almost every single window in here. Once I got in here and started driving, one of the things I noticed is how sluggish the acceleration is off the line. It will get you up to speed. You do really got to lay it into the gas pedal to get or extract any kind of power out of here. A car this size can use slightly more power in what it offers. Okay, one thing I also want to mention is this does come with a 2.0 liter turbo engine. So while it's adequate in a cars of smaller sizes, I think it makes a car of this nature slightly underpowered. But again, if you're looking to save on fuel economy while having a larger car, there's really no better way to go than having a kind of a smaller engine in a car of this size. This does 21 in the city, 25 on the highway, somewhere in like 23 for an average. I don't know, I think this is pretty good for a car this size. All right, one other thing I want to note is this car does come on 20-inch wheels, and there's absolutely no reason not to get them. It cruises very, very smooth. You don't feel any imperfections in the road. It handles really well without being overly floaty. I think Volkswagen did an awesome job calibrating the suspension and the wheel size to make it for a very comfortable everyday cruiser. Also, this doesn't induce what I found in some Toyotas, like let's say you take a Highlander, sometimes it feels like you're cruising a refrigerator. So this does not induce any of those feelings in me. I think this gives you, even honestly, some of the sport feelings you come to expect from Volkswagen. I enjoy how this car feels, and to me, where something like this shines is it'll give you a nice daily driver. You can haul yourself to work and back while simultaneously providing for a great car to fit and accommodate your entire family. So it's a great balance between the two. I've been in here for a couple hours and I'm actually not tired, and I find myself surprisingly enjoying the drive in this car. It's very calm, it's very relaxing, yet it has a touch and a tad of that Volkswagen Sport that you might find in their smaller vehicles. So Volkswagen did not totally compromise on giving you some of that fun and German feel inside of this car for a car this size. I do enjoy the feel of almost everything inside of this car, including the steering wheel. Again, the steering feel is nice and light, but the car is very responsive to it. It doesn't lag or slouch. There's honestly not even that much body roll as you go into or out of turns in this. Even something like the turn stalk has very good crisp action here. I respect them keeping things nice and basic in a modern car. We're gonna cover 3 of my likes and 3 of my dislikes. Okay, to start off, number 1 like, it's the entire design language of the car. The car looks great from the outside, and they continued that clean, simple language into the inside of the car. Everything is very easy to use here, very awesomely laid out. The controls are all very accessible. I love the clean design language. Nothing is cluttered, and there's not an excess of buttons that you don't need on the dash or anywhere else. Okay, the number 2 like, I really enjoy the way this car drives. Typically, I'm not a fan of the drive of some of the larger cars, but what Volkswagen incorporated in here is a drive that's still fun and overly enthusiastic. You're not bored with this drive. It feels premium. It feels like a luxury car. There is no elements of cheapness in the way this car drives, even on 20-inch wheels. And my number 3 like is I like how much room, the space, and overall ergonomics of the entire vehicle. It has awesome room if you're hauling people around town, or if you're looking to get away for a weekend or a much longer trip with your family. You throw that 3rd row down, and all of a sudden you have ample storage space for everything you might want. Guys, let's briefly mention some of the dislikes I have. Number 1 of my dislikes would be the acceleration. With a 4-cylinder engine in a car this size, it definitely is a slouch off lights. It's not the fastest car in the block. You don't expect it to be, but I wish it just had a little bit more pep all around. My number 2 dislike, some of the materials in here. Although overall everything looks pretty good, some of the things could feel or be on the more economy spectrum, such as they incorporated this plasticky wood in here. So again, it doesn't look overly cheap. You just know that they cut on some ingredients when putting this together. All right, and number 3 dislike. If I really had to get into the nitpicking, and I'm assuming some of the other trim levels of this car address that, but some of the things they left out features on here that you might expect even for a car in this price range, such as the passenger front seat is manually adjustable. Then the other part that took me by shock, frankly, because I'm not used to it, is the rear tailgate is manual open and close. Again, it's not the biggest deal. It requires just a little bit of might to get it, get it propped open and then close it back down. But I do believe you're able to get this spec, the SE version, somewhere in the low 40s, brand new, which to me, I don't know, it sounds like pretty good value for everything you're getting. All right, guys, we're gonna wrap this review up. I hope you enjoyed taking a drive with us in this 2022 Volkswagen Atlas. Until next time on the desert road.